with MakingStarWars.net.
Thanks, Mark Hamill, announcer Mark Hamill. I'm just a word from MakingStarWars.net. This is Force Ghost Rob.
I'm a ghost.
This is river rafting. And then we got Max Sandow. How's it going, Max?
It's good.
So today the Rogue One tickets went on sale. And my question is, who gives a shit? I do. I bought tickets for me and the kids. My son's really excited about it, and I'm broke now. That shit was expensive. Like
He's excited to see
cheap.
Ogon.
Ogon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on a shirt. So did you end up getting tickets, Max?
In a minute. Soon time.
Yeah.
In a minute.
And then Rob's not going to go because he'll only get COVID for Spider-Man. Is that correct?
I have Rogue One in 3D. I watch on my Oculus Quest in a movie theater. Why would I go to IMAX? Like, I don't. And then they're like, but you'll see a preview Andor. I'm like, we got like 29 weeks of Andor coming here. Like,
but you're gonna see a preview for Andor.
Yeah, you know, the right preview for Andor is you complaining about it by complimenting it, but sort of.
No, I think it's good. Just it might suck.
You're like, I think it's good. Can't wait.
Listen, I don't appreciate your Andor candor. Okay,
I'm gonna make a song.
I'm gonna make a song about it. Andor candor. Andor candor.
Yeah, you love it. That's how I show my love.
Yeah. we all have different love languages, Rob. You need to learn that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something I guess when Rob goes to the theater, he usually is close to getting to an altercation with somebody. So
every time.
But so it's probably good he stays home.
And I don't talk. I don't bother anybody. Like I don't understand. Like, man.
Yeah. Something about you.
There's something about it's not good, Jason.
No. Yeah. I mean, like, I get where you're coming from. I mean, same. I also, I have Rogue One. I have Rogue One 3D. I got Oculus Quest. I got it on Blu-ray. I got it signed by Steven Stanton. A very nice letter from Steven Stanton written on my Rogue One Blu-ray. I have all kinds of Rogue One. Yeah.
If they were doing like an upgraded deepfake Leia face, it would be worth putting on the mask and going to see on.
I keep saying what if.
That would be really nice.
What if it's not going to happen? I think it's an unrealistic expectation for it to go that way. But what if we go and Tarkin and Leia are upgraded?
That would be nice. Hey, Jesse.
How's it going? I'm glad that after all this time, you got the same fidelity in audio.
It's great, right?
Oh, it's different.
Invasion, Jason. It can mean only one thing.
You're invasion. You got seal bibbles in all your holes right now.
Oh, dude.
It sounds like cricket too.
It sounds like we're pinging nuclear submarines, like we're in the Crimson Tide. Oh fuck, man!
Ow!
What do you sound like?
My ears are bleeding.
Go!
No, don't.
And do that. Come on. I want to. Let's take it back to the 90s, dude. Here we go. Come on, do it.
No. That's loud.
It definitely sounds like you're about to do that breeder song, though. Oh yeah,
it sounds like
complaining
crickets in the
about
background.
Max holding the microphone ever again, huh, Jason?
He sounds like a Death Trooper. We're kind of on point, maybe. So your mic is both feeding back and distorting with low input all at the same time, which is magic. I don't know. I'm not even mad. I'm I'm
This
just.
Seems like I got to figure out how to get that
This is-
into the songs.
This is like
that's-
when Baxter got in the fridge and ate all the food, and Ron Burgundy was just like, I'm just impressed.
How about this? Sound higher or lower?
I don't know what you're saying, but it sounds fucking indie as fucking. You sound cool. I like your band.
I am a robot 2.0.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe
I don't-
should cut out and come back in and see what happens.
Is your mic working, or is it your head? Does your headset have a mic on it?
No, but how about my mic now?
Yeah, no, that shit's broken. That shit's
Is it?
broken. Oh yeah, that's a communications disruption for sure.
Let's see.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
so fucking horrible, bro.
Yeah, that's this is one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. Don't stop.
I don't know. It's the bug.
Shit, man.
Jesus Christ.
This is like some Jesus lizard demos or something. You know?
Man. What is this?
Yeah. Robert St. Clair thought
like-
there was an animal in his house. I walked away through the stairs downstairs, didn't know what the hell was going on. Oh, it's just Jesse,
This
which is his new show called Just Jesse, coming to Fox.
Well,
No one knows what
I didn't get theme song.
Yeah, I don't know what you just said right now. You sound crazy. Oh yeah, we don't know.
What
But
about-
I mean, is he gonna the big like mystery box moment of the episode? The J.J. Abrams thing is he gonna see Rogue One? We don't know, because early on we planted like a soundbite, and people are analyzing the sound, trying to figure out what he said, and nobody knows.
Nobody
Literally
knows.
would have been clearer with a cup and string, Jason. You know,
Yeah,
like-
I think your microphone is broken. I'm gonna just go out on a
Probably.
limb, and I really do think it may be straight
Fair
up
enough.
broken.
I'll be back another day then. It's fine.
Okay, dude.
All right, man.
You're always welcome back. Thanks for the Sonic Youth like inspired podcasting. I've never heard that before. That's
Yeah,
fucking
man.
cool.
It's
But
radio
it's-
head. Get it right.
It's not
Radio
good to hear from you, Jesse, but it's good to see you, bud.
I didn't
All
want
right.
to. I didn't want to like spill the beans, Jason.
Yeah.
But it was that his microphone sounded like that because Hunter Biden hacked his microphone. yeah, and, you know.
Oh, that's not fair. He doesn't get to defend himself. So okay. So
All right,
so
let's do
at the start of the question, before we went totally fucking indie, I was asking, you know, are you going to see it? Rob says no. It sounds like Max is kind of on the fence or hasn't got tickets yet. But Hello
I think
Me's
I
got
tickets yet.
tickets. Hello Me's got tickets. I also think that they're likely going to give out that poster. Oh, and before we forget, you could Star Wars Santa's dad had some medical issues after he got hit by a crazy person. I'm just gonna say, fuck her. She's a fucking idiot, and she hit his father with a car. It's not like the dad wasn't in the street dancing in the streets like that song or anything. You know, he was where he should have been. And so they have exorbitant medical bills. They need a lot of money to make it work. So if you could contribute to the GoFundMe, it would be great. I will post the link to the GoFundMe again in just a second, and you could get it from Santa stuff. I got it a link up on MakingStarWars.net right now, and I'm gonna post it into the chat right now. Just copying that old link right now. I'm putting it in the chat, and so if anybody wants to help out, help an old dude out who needs some help, by all means, please do.
I was gonna do it, and then my wife flooded our laundry. I'm on it. I've just been busy with other shit. I forgot about it, so I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I
was
got
gonna-
$20 though.
I was gonna do it, but then I realized I could go see Rogue One like 5 more times. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Heating's so expensive. I actually need the coal this Christmas. So Santa, I'm like, relying on that now. So
in certain ways, Santa's not a hypocrite. He's always been big coal. Azatru says, even though it's now one of my least favorite Star Wars films, I'd have gone to see it because no Star Wars film in 3 years, but it isn't being re-released in the UK. That fucking
that
sucks.
is ridiculous. Azatru, I love you, but that is ridiculous.
I thought Meg's going.
Well, that's what's weird is I thought we got the first leak from the UK. Maybe it was canceled, or maybe they just haven't gone forward with their plans yet. Hopefully they do. I think in the US it might be an IMAX thing, and you guys might have a different IMAX kind of setup than us, but also Canada got that Kenobi thing, and everything's weird.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought she reported they were showing Andor in the theaters, or Kenobi. I thought that's what.
No, it's Rogue One with an Andor preview.
Okay.
And I think it's realistic to expect that it will probably be like a 3 to 4 minute like preview of Andor, or a scene from Andor, like a pivotal moment or something that's like, whoa, gotta catch that on Disney Plus, friends, kind of things.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, but I'm going to throw it out there that in the past we have seen things like what was that movie with from the Batman from Nolan with the
Tenet.
boats? Tenet, for instance. There was like 7-minute previews of wasn't there 7-minute previews of like Tenet and that other movie with the fucking airplanes and the boats, the British people? Dunkirk.
Love that movie.
Stupid dumb Kirk. Star Trek story. I got you, Star Trek. No, but there have been like extended like commercials, if you will, of things for films a little bit before COVID, but there's always a chance that it could be something kind of significant. I would go in with low expectations and then just be happy with whatever you get. If you are only going for the Andor thing, I think you would be spending your money unwisely. That would just be like my guess. But there is always a chance that if they show 10-15 minutes of it or something like that, that Disney is taking their block of ad time before that film on those screenings and is going to show, instead of showing us 4 or 5 things, this is going to show us like something from that series for a few minutes, and which would be, I would appreciate that. I mean, realistically, I would prefer, they probably don't want confusion, but I would just prefer if they showed the first 3 episodes and had a special event that I could go and pay them an extra $20, or actually in this instance about $90 for me and the kids to go. It's expensive.
I have never enjoyed watching TV shows on the big screen.
Yeah,
I've done a few,
but it's so cinematic, Rob. I thought it was cinematic.
No, it's just because it doesn't complete. It doesn't finish. Nitwit. Fucking see, I knew it.
Well, what if? Well, I mean,
Thought it was cinematic.
Thought it was cinematic, Rob. I mean, you said it looked just like the movies.
Yeah, but it doesn't end like a movie. It ends like a TV, like the 3rd episode of a TV show. You gotta go home.
Once again, I mean, we'll have to wait and see how accurate their word is on this. But when you look at what it sounds like they're using the young Indiana Jones model for this series. And the young Indy model was make 2 episodes that can be edited or smashed together and make a short Indiana Jones film. And with the Andor show, we're getting these 3-parters, and every 3 parts essentially make a little
You're
Rogue
saying
One.
Andor is going to sit on top of a pyramid and talk to Lawrence of Arabia for 90 minutes? That's an Indiana Jones
That
movie?
was a good episode, friend. I don't.
He just sat there. I'm like, there's a mummy. Go in and open the trap. Something, man.
There was plenty of adventure and hijinks to be had.
Oh God, it was paved the way for Kenobi.
Hey, you know what? If you change the channel at that time in that year,
and
you
never go back.
Fucking Balky. No, you would have watched Balky. Okay,
watching Quantum Leap.
Yeah, Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap is a guy in a room going, "Oh my God, I got Down syndrome today." I mean,
so it's not too far from my own life experience.
No, but I love. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Quantum Leap, and you do this thing where you make me pit what I love against what I love. But
you literally shit on Quantum Leap.
I'll Sophie Choice the shit out of Quantum Leap for young Indy. I won't lie.
Quantum Leap.
Bye, Sam. That's what I'll say.
It's not even close.
No, but I mean that is the problem with young Indy today, post golden age of television. Like that's why realistically they shouldn't make more indie films. They should take young Indy or Indy itself to Disney Plus and do Raiders of the Lost Ark style shows. You know what I mean? Between 40 to 90 minute episodes of something.
I don't think you can do Indiana Jones adventures on the cheap, man.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think it's only an animation. Some guy did this little Indiana Jones
Yeah,
test animation that was
it
pretty
looked good.
cool.
It looked good. I at the time when that came out, I was like, man, I wish Lucasfilm was doing this with like during the Clone Wars time or something when they were like primarily an animation based company. I was like, do it.
I know you're not going to agree with it, but I think Indiana Jones is something that Gendy Tartakovsky or whatever should have done. Like, if you look at what they did on Samurai Jack, a lot of Indy is not talking.
I like him. I like Gendy. I think Gendy would be better suited for Indy than for Star Wars, because what I always say is that the original Clone Wars micro series is fun, but it's an experiment of what happens when you mash up the superhero genre of animation with Star Wars. What do you get? I like what I got. It's just it's not cinematic Star Wars at the same time. So it's like I'm cool with both of them existing together or existing at the same time. I just wouldn't take that over traditional Star Wars storytelling if possible. That's my only that's my perspective or whatever on it. That's why I like the Clone Wars 2008 versus his. But if I could have both, I would gladly have both. And he would do better. Gendy would do better for Indiana Jones. Samurai Jack, Indiana Jones would work so good.
Well, that's why I really, and I'm being dead serious. If you're going to do an Aphra series, you're better off letting Gendy do like an animated series, because a lot of that would just be, man, is this like a lot of not talking? It's like looking, seeing the trap, figuring out something. You set it on different planets, you got endless adventures. You know what I mean? Like with alien creatures and crazy things you can do. Like you can do minecarts, in space.
Well, I mean, but also, I mean, if they were to do a live action Indiana Jones series, and let's say they kind of did something where it was like, action beats are continual, but you get sort of a sequence every 3 episodes, and they were doing the Andor / Young Indy model of multiple episodes make a film in totality, they may be able to get away with some pretty interesting stuff. Like, for instance, the opening to Raiders is one of the most iconic moments in cinema history, and that is so small scale in relation to Hollywood today that
they're doing that.
If Raiders never
show.
Existed, though, they could have done that opening in a Star Wars show or in an Indiana Jones television show, is what I'm trying to say. So I believe in if the right creatives were involved, they could nail it. They could take Indiana Jones like there. Now the thing is, like the Raiders of the Lost Ark truck sequence, where you have, I don't know, probably almost as many cuts as you have in the cell barge from Return of the Jedi. Probably not going to happen, right? That's where we would lose it, and the amount of
that's
coverage.
why I just think it's better for animation.
Yeah,
I really do, and I think like if people want to see like how good serialized 2D animation can be, even on a budget, go watch Primal. Like,
but Disney are huge cowards with animation, as we've seen, comparatively speaking. If you look at Clone Wars before Disney, way more grotesque, a lot more adult moments, more violence at times. I don't think that there's been as much. Maybe I'm misremembering it, and people in the chat could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was toned down quite a bit. And I think it's kind of like how today, like that Sex Pistols show that I love, Pistols. It's on Disney Plus in the UK. Not here though.
Really?
Yeah, because we're like this, like, I don't know. It's like Disney is almost like enabling this puritanical perspective of like, oh, we're all stupid kid babies. Oh no, if I saw some titties on Disney Plus, Junior might. And it's like they keep doing these things where they add like, oh, you could password it, you could double password it, you could keep they're like, you could tell they want to move that way.
Honestly, man, they should just go back to friend codes. They could just friend code.
Yeah, it's yeah, right. It's really weird. It's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, add the password. Make it where everything Y7 is all a 7-year-old could see. If that's what you don't want, fine. But it's like they're just afraid, I think, of the disingenuous outrage the articles that some guy in Florida, I went to Disney and I saw somebody with tattoos and it ruined my immersion. You ever see that fucking idiot? That fucking guy. He's a fucking card. Yeah. It's like, oh, really? When you go to fucking Taco Bell and they have tattoos, does it ruin your fucking taco immersion? You fucking idiot. Like when you go outside on the street, it's just like but he thinks people don't leave there. They're like slaves to Disney. They don't leave, so they can't have tattoos, outside. It's just another fucking, yeah. But anyways,
Paycheck.
People like that write articles. They're disingenuous. They don't really care about anything. They just want to be Karens on the grand digital stage of the internet. And at the end of the day, Disney's like, well, what do we do? And you know what you do? You just fucking keep doing what you're doing, and it won't matter. I mean, at the end of the day, like, but where I'm going with this is that I do feel like we may never see animation go into that place. I like what I'm hearing about Star Wars Tales of the Jedi. It sounds like we're getting deep lore in the Star Wars universe. It doesn't sound like it has, like, the story is well crafted. It doesn't sound like it has to pull back too much. It does have death in it and stuff like that. And I'm not necessarily death, but it's like certain, I think it's the intensity of where they will allow animation to go that may be off the table. But I also don't know if is that like an actual directive, or is it like something that's just felt in the corporate culture so they know, you know what I mean? Like are there hard, fast rules, or is it just the culture? I don't know. And maybe Lucasfilm will change that over time, but that's why.
Well, Marvel's animation slate was the coolest thing I saw at Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything they're doing with animation, even though it's 3D, I don't care. Like they're doing stylized 3D. Everything has its own look. The Spider-Man cartoon literally looks like 1960s Steve Ditko drawings. The X-Men cartoon
How about Mike
looks
Ditka?
like,
you got any Mike Ditka drawings?
It looks like the 94 cartoon, but actually well animated. Unlike that fucking, it was the worst animation, bro. When that fucking cartoon came out. So and they're adding shadows. I mean, like all that stuff. So I just think if Feige and them had any influence, it's like, let the animation houses talk to them, because that's the diversity of animation is where I think Star Wars really thrives. I mean, like I said, if you get Visions, you get Tales of the Jedi, you got like an animated 2D looking, even if it's 3D, but it's 2D looking Gendy style Aphra Space Indiana Jones cartoon, like, if not even the reason why I say you can do the Indiana Jones, but there's only so many fucking places on Earth to go. When it's other planets, you can do whatever you want, man.
No,
you can do the same thing essentially, but you can do the same thing, but on a different planet. It's a different experience.
But when it comes, like, for instance, though, when it
comes
to
Star Wars, I don't want
Wars
caricatures. I don't want cultural caricatures on.
Well, that might be where that may also be where Disney is afraid, because with Indiana Jones itself. Because what you do end up with Indiana Jones is sort of a PR nightmare in a way, where you have a white man in the 1930s and 40s pillaging other cultures, and then everyone showing deference to him in some way as like, I carry your bags kind of guy and stuff.
If it's an imperial officer in a space galaxy, you see what I mean? Like you get around all those problems, dude. Mm-hmm. Like instantaneously.
100%. But if Disney was to go and, let's just say, give Jason and Rob, $20 million in secret and say, go film us Indiana Jones, don't tell anybody, we could probably go and we could film at Giza. We could do what Indiana Jones did. Young Indiana Jones did.
I've seen Giza on a drone. I'm not that impressed. I want space Giza.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is that it like you could go to these actual locations. For instance, like, you could go to South America, and there's all kinds of things that you can do there. And also, though, that's just like a location. If you were to do year by year or era by era, there's a lot you can do. I mean, Young Indiana Jones has, when you watch that series, you could be as critical as, like I said, I think it should be critiqued within its era, but look at what they were able to do. I mean, Young Indy in World War I was some of the best Indiana Jones storytelling that there is. There are some really good moments. The Phantom Train of Doom, written by Frank Darabont and Carrie Fisher, so fucking good. and it's about these old guys that were like they were an old guy regiment in World War I. Nobody wanted them. They formed their own. But then it ended up having to like blow up this train and do this whole train thing, but it's fucking quality. And so where I'm going with it is that like that was done with, you know, weird Lucas McCollum 1990s like mindsets and shit. I mean, there's a lot of potential for what could happen with Indiana Jones in the future if they knew how to handle the IP.
If it were animation, y'all gonna hate me for saying this, but
yeah,
honestly, man, that's where time travel makes the most sense, because then Indy could go and protect antiquities throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's that whole like time travel like rumor for the 5th movie, you know?
Yeah.
So like, if Indy was able to like, I don't know, you know, it'd be funny, man. You got to merge Quantum Leap with Indiana Jones.
No,
he leaps through adventures throughout time, but he's Indy, right? So he could be anybody.
I hope this time travel thing sort of work. However, whatever it is, I hope it has some like very grounded rules. Like for instance, a lot of people leave Last Crusade thinking Indiana Jones is immortal at the end of that movie because they just didn't pay attention. But it's like, you know, the idea like, yeah, you're immortal if you stay there drinking from the cup, like that kind of concept. I hope that it's not like now Indiana Jones just in his time machine gets to go around and do wacky stuff. Like if it does go that way, I just hope it has some interesting. I hope there's an interesting hook to the science, you know, like where it's just like where to back to the dinosaur age, and then they hit the button, you know, it'd be kind of like ridiculous. But that's why I want some official shit from it, you know, to come out, just so we kind of know. Hey, Santa, gotta say, Santa says, I don't expect to see it. Too much other stuff going on right now. Theater is just not a priority just yet. Maybe. Just gonna throw it out there. I don't know how far an IMAX theater is for you and stuff like that, so how realistic it is. But maybe buy your tickets. Just have them. And then when that day comes, make a choice. I could go for a few hours and do something fun for myself, because maybe you can on a Friday night for 3 or 4 hours have it to yourself. I mean, maybe it's possible, maybe it's not, but if it's not, you could always just go into the app and cancel the tickets, you know what I mean, and do a refund. And you know, that's just a suggestion. I mean, if you know you can't and it would just be like kind of, you know, cock teasing your Star Wars love there, then don't do it. But if there's a possibility though, I think you should do that. But oh yeah, we're to the Jesse part where you sound like a tetra. Right now it sounds like you got guitar strings flopping in the back, Max.
It's my fucking AC.
It sounds like when I have these, I don't cut them.
Here, I'll do this.
Joel Williams says the cunt for Red October. Oh man, but yeah, I mean it's like I'm with you though, Rob. Like I have enough. There's enough archaeological adventure in my or not enough in my life where I could have Aphra and Indy at the same time and be perfectly fine. And I'm not sure if it has to be either or. I don't know if like doing Aphra cannibalizes Indy in some way, but I also feel like Indy has so many other just general qualities to it that Star Wars can't ever have. You know what I mean? Like it can't do the World War II or the World War I or even into the Vietnam era, depending on how far they would take it. I don't think they take it that far, but you know what I'm saying though? Like it has the historicity element that we don't have with Star Wars. So I would be okay with those things like existing at the same time. But if they did do Aphra, there would be a certain contingency of Star Wars fans who would just be like, oh, well, I don't need that now because I got it in my Star Wars, you know? But maybe not. I mean, maybe if it was well timed or something. But all right. So anyways, Manny Bothans are dying listening to this message. Yeah, he tried. I honestly think his mic might be broken this time, by the way. It says sounds like a military movie live. Yeah, the Manny Bothans, Tag and Bink comic Like Kevin Rubio was pretty good. Where Mon Mothma was just talking about a guy named Manny. You know, just classic.
Yeah, I
Classic
like
Dark Horse. So, man, you guys are really talking about this Manny Bothans.
They should redo it, but call it Tag and Binks and make it about Tag and Jar Jar Binks.
Joel says, no young Indy, it's blasphemy. I don't know. I mean, like I said, if the old show doesn't hold up for you or never did, or doesn't work for you, the premise itself isn't broken, though. You know what I mean? Like doing Indiana Jones. I mean, like if I were them, what I would do is don't do little kid Indy. That was a bad idea even then. They just needed to make Indy a kid so that way they could have him meet characters who were alive when Indy was a kid. It was more of a historical thing. But like the original series, which I think should be considered canon considering those involved, you know, George Lucas, Harrison Ford's even in one. But you end up it ends just before Indy goes to college. So if I were them, I would start Young Indiana Jones or Indiana Jones, the Disney Plus series, with Indy going to college, because that's where he meets.
To be a ninja.
Well, that's where he meets Ravenwood. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you can hit on his 16-year-old daughter. That can't wait to watch that.
Hey, it was different times. Different times. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, like the way through is the Aphra. I mean, Lucas wanted to make a smaller sequel.
It's not though.
That's what Splinter of the Mind's Eye was essentially like them in a temple going to find an artifact. I mean, you could sort of see a proto Indiana Jones story in that.
The value in the IP isn't archaeology. The value in the IP is Indiana Jones, which you can't do in Star Wars. It's the character of Indy, like the personality, whether it's a Harrison Ford digital clone or look-alike or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? It's to me, it's not the same thing.
I don't think
I want
Indiana
it,
Jones,
but I don't see why it's an either or. Like, is what I'm trying to say.
Look, I love Indy, but it's not a Star Wars. It's not a Batman. It's not a character that goes on forever and ever. It's a dude in a place and time.
Dude, I got more Jason Bourne fucking movies I've never fucking seen than Indiana Jones movies at this point.
You got 4 Indy movies and 4 Bourne movies. You get the exact same amount.
And Indiana Jones has been around for fucking like I'm saying
100 years.
There's a lot more that could be done with Indiana Jones than Jason Bourne.
Well, they were smart enough to make Jason Bourne a 90-year-old running around getting blown up by a nuclear reactor and a
everybody timestamp this because that's what's going to happen. They're never going to stop making those movies either. Like, we're going to get that, aren't we? Unless he dies. Does he die? Does he die in the last one?
He did not die in the third one. He wasn't in the last one.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't in the last one, bro. It was the Jeremy Renner character. Forget his name.
No, I don't know. I haven't seen him. I don't have any idea. But the Indiana Jones, I mean, just look at how varied the 4 films that we have are, though. Which there's a lot of elasticity in the premise. Like, I don't know anything about Jason Bourne. All I know is there's an ultimatum, there's an identity. That's all I know is it's Matt Damon, and he's like, I'm doing spy stuff. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad or anything like that. I'm saying I just don't know anything. But when I know Indiana Jones, he's an archaeologist in the 30s and 40s primarily who goes around looking and finds the greatest treasures of all time. I mean, it doesn't, that premise is fucking never ending if it's handled by passionate people with good MacGuffins. And like the MacGuffin thing originally has always been like this thing where, oh God, we're kind of trying to find the MacGuffin. The MacGuffin's so hard. It was so hard that George Lucas had his assistant do it. Went found him and just like brought it like in like a list, and he's like,
look how long it took them to figure out what to do for a 4th Indy film. I'm just saying, you put that shit in space, endless fucking adventures. Just telling you.
But you're saying either or. I'm saying I'm saying Aphra is a great premise. But I just don't think that
studios don't do 2 things at the same time.
White man on Earth in the 30s and 40s, Asian lesbian in a galaxy far, far away. Yes. It's apples and oranges. I like both apples and I like oranges. I can have both. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's not. It's but because that's only if we treat archaeology as the premise. Is it though? Is it really? I mean,
Bro, it's treasure hunting. That's everyone
it's
loves a
treasure.
good treasure hunt.
It's treasure, but also at the same time, when you put Aphra into Star Wars, it doesn't exclusively become treasure hunting for times. And the same thing with Indiana Jones, where it becomes like, oh, now I'm with these people. Like think of the Book of Boba Fett that was written by a 5-year-old with a crayon. Some of the best moments are when Boba's hanging out with Tusken Raiders, right? But people are a lot more interesting than Tusken Raiders.
The train sequence.
Yeah, that's the same thing, Rob. I'm saying, like Indiana
No,
Jones,
it's a heist.
right? But it's all part of the same thing, and that's what I'm trying to say. Though Indiana Jones, that's his life. Like archaeology is and anthropology is inherently interesting, actually, and there's just tons of narrative things that could come out of that. And made up space cultures are fun, but if they were that fun, I would be the biggest Dune fan, and I'm not. But I'm just saying, like, people are interesting. There are things that could be dealt with in Indiana Jones that you can't. So I just don't think. I think you could have both. But the big question would be, would they ever do both?
Yeah, but I'm talking about for a series, and so I would just leave Indy to the movies. I wouldn't put him in a series.
But once you have Indiana Jones, this movie come out, it's done. This is what they're saying. I don't believe it. I don't ever believe anything is done that's valuable.
You really believe that?
So this is the last movie.
But it's Harrison Ford saying, "I'm Indiana Jones. I'm the only Indiana Jones," and they're echoing that, and they're saying that if this is the because the theme of this last Indiana Jones movie is retirement. Like it literally has him getting his retirement gift at the start. And we see that Toby Jones has another retirement clock. There they come. It has like one of the clocks. It's one of the things that he's taking. His name may be Basil. I don't know. But so they're going to sell that idea. But they probably wouldn't go back to Indiana Jones super quick. But when you look at what they're doing with that last Indiana Jones movie, Harrison Ford's walking around with dots all over his face, like he's fucking got some Morgan Freeman freckles because they're digital tracking markers. Because they're going to do face replacement, they're going to de-age him. We don't know to what extent, but it definitely seems like part of it's in the 40s.
They're going to give him Shia's face just to fuck with us.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, he's gonna
beat
the dogs.
He's gonna fucking beat. Actually, what they're doing is they're gonna do a fun play on that where Aphra beats the shit out of Chewbacca in the Star Wars.
Yeah,
see, it all kind of connects. It all rhymes.
It connects.
Mm-hmm.
But his name was Mutt, and he shot dogs to prepare because his name was Mutt.
Yeah,
fucking guy, dude.
But
fucking dude.
I would not be surprised if we ended up seeing Harrison Ford. Not young Harrison Ford, not in Star Wars, but in an Indiana Jones adventure on Disney Plus before we see him as Han Solo. I wouldn't be surprised. That's not a prediction. I'm not betting on it, but I would not be surprised if that's how it ended up going. If this last Indiana Jones movie comes out and makes a fuck ton of money, and it has a high exposure level, if it's a good success, if it's very healthy. I don't see how they just go, well, let's put Indy back in the closet again. We'll pull him out in 20 years after Harrison Ford dies, recast him. That sounds fun, recasting him, doesn't it? Because they're not going to ever be able to outdo.
Well, Chris Pratt needs work.
Chris Pratt could fucking choke on a bag of dicks. He's never going to be Indiana Jones. He doesn't have the skills. Let's just be clear. He does not have what it takes. He, in the Jurassic World movies, he's a fucking wet paper towel. The guy is good as the Star-Lord. He's good when he's like, hey, I'm the dumb boyfriend and Community. But when he tried to be the fucking action lead, I don't think he has it.
You don't think that they're gonna be like pass on the torch in any sense? No.
Like, I mean,
once this is done, it's done. I never really watched Indiana like hardcore. I mean, I saw the movies.
Yeah,
but that's just about it.
The thing about it is like they on the fourth one, there was this idea being sold behind the scenes before that Shia LaBeouf was going to pick up the mantle. They were kind of having ideas about how they would do it. And then at the end of the day, they had him go to put the hat on, and then Indy took it from him because they even came to the conclusion during that production that it doesn't work that way. It's not something that you can do. You know, it doesn't, it's like royal thinking. Oh, well, now he's the prince, therefore he's going to be the new king. You know, no, it's not how it works. I mean, you know, I don't know. Like
not even like James Bondy kind of thing.
I mean, other than fucking
Max, do you
Jaden
know
Smith.
about the development of Indiana Jones?
I don't pay attention. That's one
Spielberg wanted to make a James Bond movie.
I don't follow
Lucas.
No, I haven't.
I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying Spielberg wanted to make a James Bond movie, and Lucas said he had something better than James Bond, and then he pitched him this, and they made that instead. So.
And he was right. It is better than James Bond, and it gets to be James Bond, which is that premise just keeps on giving because there's the spy years. Also, the World War II.
Can't wait for Indiana Jones in the 80s.
Didn't he say that in
the Stone?
No. I'm not saying put Harrison Ford in the 80s, going like, "Oh, Reagan, what do you need, bud?" You know, I'm not saying that. I am saying that.
Well, I want to get some M&Ms.
Yeah, I mean, no, but with, I mean, with Indiana Jones, I mean, there's so much that you can do. I mean, there's, like I said, there's spy, there's treasure hunting, there's war, there's the, like, you know what I mean, meeting other cultures aspects. There's just so much that can be done. I just think it's a bigger...
Indiana Jones and that Japanese soldier who wouldn't let go of the war. Right, it's just him on the island.
Oh yeah,
they're throwing grenades on one another.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I just think it's kind of like his age, and it's kind of like
I'm not saying Harrison Ford though.
Right, even if you go back and you just do endless adventures, there's only so many adventures one guy can have, unless he's Bruce Wayne and he just never ages.
So let's end Batman. Let's end Batman. Let's end Superman. Let's just end all comics right now.
But those aren't like real characters.
Let's shut down the MCU.
What I'm saying is they can always reboot Batman into some weird time thing, but Indy kind of is like inherent in that. You take Indy out of the 30s and you end up with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it just looks weird.
You don't have to though.
They have to be endless adventures set in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, I mean, for if you have ever looked at me on the show and said, "Oh, I just want a show where a Jedi just walks around like kung fu," that's what Indiana Jones's life is like in some ways. It's kung fu. He's walking through the world, getting things, doing things. He goes back to the university. He's rarely there like he's supposed to be. Nobody wants to see him teaching classes. But
girls trying to hit him, all students trying to fuck him,
writing things. I mean, and some of the unproduced scripts, he does fuck them. The one that was for Natalie Portman, where his daughter, he was gonna fuck her, or not gonna fuck her. He was gonna hit on her, then realized it was his daughter. Yeah, some of those scripts went in weird places with Indy. Different time. Okay, when I say different time, I am joking, by the way, because anybody's not clear.
Telling you,
but
I don't know, man.
It has more to do with the guys who were writing the scripts at the times when they were writing them. But yeah, but anyways, the whole like Aphra like kind of concept, I don't know why they're sitting on their hands on that though either. Like, because like, look, when the Indiana Jones, remember when they re-released those Indiana Jones toys in like 2008 or 9 or something? Right. Yeah. So I was at Comic-Con for Crystal Skull, the Crystal Skull line.
So I was at Comic-Con with my buddy who was writing his book with me. His brother-in-law was the guy in charge at Hasbro of all that shit. So we were there looking at the booth like after hours, right? And he was like walking us through. And I'm like, "No Nazis, huh?" I said, "Can't do it. Can never do the Nazis." Yeah. Then I'm like, "Then what's the fucking point?" Like no one wants to play with Marion in the Jeep. Like it doesn't, like it's not like you have to have something really over the top to kind of like transcend, like that kid thing. You want to get, it's got to be more than just like Star Trek. I love Star Trek, but it's hard to get Star Trek toys when it's just they're standing on the bridge
But I also think that simplifying Indiana Jones to American versus Nazi is kind of an oversimplification of like the adventure potential. And in terms of like that kind of stuff, there are easy ways around. Like, for instance, if Spalka, was that her name, Spalka? Had Kate Blanchett had been a Nazi, her outfit wasn't necessarily traditional, if I remember right. It was more like a jumpsuit with black boots. There's things that you can do that take it out, like Tote in Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's not overtly Nazi. He could walk through the streets of the United States and people would just go, look at that weirdo. You know what I mean? So I think there's like ways around it as a product, but also their product problems aren't my problem. I don't care what their product hurdles and issues are, and I know that they do. I'm sure they care about it to some extent, because like, you know, you're still not even going to want to make Japanese World War II soldiers as action figures to fight and stuff like that. They're just not going to want to go there. But that's where you make strong characters like Belloc, and you know what I mean, like that don't necessarily that wear civilian clothes, adventure civilian clothes at the same time.
The closest I've seen to it that just took that mold and ran with it that I think would work, even though like now people would probably bitch because of there was TNA, but was like Danger Girls. The comic Danger Girls was pretty cool because it was like it had all that Indiana Jones girls being led by a James Bond type figure with a Belloc and all that, you know, Cobra. Like I really thought that was cool, but it was like, and like, oh no, it's got boobs. And everyone tells me how, I don't know. I'm going to start complaining about puritanical America. But I just think like, you know, like an Indiana Jones series, I don't know, man, but like an Indiana Jones cartoon series, sure, you know, because then you're not bound by like.
Whoa, let's roll it back though. If you're talking about like hurdles, doing Indiana Jones in animation has way more hurdles.
Which is why I would prefer.
He can't use a gun. You can't have Nazis ever. Like
when I say animation, I'm talking about PG-13. Like Batman animated series had guns, you know. So like,
but
you know,
would Disney animation have real guns in it? I don't think.
Look,
so. I don't think they would.
That's why I said the only way forward is Aphra for this sort of thing, because you got blasters and it just gets around all that stuff.
Well, the way forward is to do it in live action on Disney Plus.
Well, they're doing that National Treasure series, so I don't see them doing 2 treasure hunting series.
I don't know. I mean, you got National Treasure. We got, what's that one with Oscar Isaac? It's not far off. Moon Knight isn't far off.
No, that's not about hunting. No,
it's not far off.
You could think that, but it's not really.
In terms of selling it, no.
I think it should have been more about the narrative. I think it should have a bit more into that, you know, but it's not.
But in terms of a marketing sell, it is. In terms of
until you watch it and then you're like, why are we stuck in an asylum for 7 episodes and he killed his brother? Like, it doesn't. You know, it's not the same thing.
What? I didn't know that. Okay. No, it's.
Oh, shame I ruined the fucking show for you.
The show. You're
in such a hurry to watch it too. Whatever. Well, whatever will I do?
I know. I was actually enjoying it. I just stopped watching it. I don't know why. But I don't know, man. I think that like also like cornering the market on that stuff. But I mean, like National fucking Treasure. That's like Indiana Jones is Nirvana. National Treasure's fucking Creed. Like that is low fucking rent adventure.
I hear you, Jason, but because it's low rent, they can do it on a cheap on live act. They're not gonna do.
No, but
look, Indiana Jones requires you to physically go to everywhere around the world and film. It just doesn't make any financial sense as a series. It makes more financial sense as a movie where they can make that money. If they could do
Rogue One in those locations, if they could do Andor in those locations that they were doing it, I think they could do Indiana Jones in those locations. If they could do Willow in the places that they were doing Willow, they could do Indiana Jones in those locations. I don't think
we haven't seen Willow yet to know if any of that works. So.
But I know where they were filming. I know the castles, and I know the weird locations that they were at and stuff. Like we've had them on the show. And so it's completely like possible.
You know what? You're right. I'm wrong. I take it back.
It's not I mean,
you won.
No, it's not that. I mean, it's not
convinced me.
It's about winning.
It's not about winning.
It's all about winning, right, Max?
I mean, but I mean, it's
right,
like
I lost.
No, it's like I don't know. It's like imagine we fucking own Batman, but we're like, oh god, it's just all these problems. Let's go do Nightwing. But you got fucking Batman. What are you doing? You don't go make
Indiana
a Nightwing.
Jones is not the same as Batman. It's just
Indiana Jones is the same as Batman. In Batman and
I know you feel that way,
Jones,
but
Indiana Jones has
I'm going to tell you something.
Sat on by two lazy fucking filmmakers for 40 fucking years. That's the truth.
Indiana Jones to me is like Back to the Future. It's of its time, it's of its place, and I don't think they should be making a ton of it.
Could not be more wrong right now than you have. You are as wrong as you have ever been. Ask your wife.
I know.
Me and her are going to team up on you on this one. No, Indiana Jones, just because it's been mishandled over the years, just because George Lucas said, oh, I want to take the character and turn it into an educational experience on ABC because he's fucking crazy.
Here you complain on what Disney would and wouldn't do, and Lucas himself wouldn't even do it.
I'm telling Disney what they should do, not complaining about what they won't do. I'm saying they won't.
Lucas has been the most conservative with Indiana Jones. Let's be honest.
Yeah, both. He's been the most conservative and the most liberal. He's used him more than anybody. He did like 60 episodes of a show or 50 episodes of a show with him.
He really wasn't in that.
And then,
like you could call it anything, and it would have been
not to George.
It could have been called Encyclopedia Brown, and I would have been like, oh yeah, okay.
No, well, George Lucas was so prequel minded in the way his brain works that if they had done season 4, that's when Belloc came in. That's when it was going to become the more traditional adventure show.
Glad he waited 3 seasons to not be able to do it.
He fucked. Yeah, he fucked up. I'm not saying he did it right. I'm saying he's fucking crazy.
Who was the actor in the TV show?
Sean Patrick Flannery.
They always give the third name to serial killers, don't they?
They do. Why is that?
Everyone says they love a Disney Plus Young and Indie show, and then when they announce it, they're gonna be like, "Why are they milking everything I love? They got nothing new." Blah blah blah. But they all say this, and then you get it. I would love a Boba Fett Disney, but then you get it. You're like, "Why, God? Why?"
No,
I don't.
It's not the same people.
You don't know what you'd love.
I have done extensive studies on how fucking stupid all of you in the chat are. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I have done this. And
wanted to say, chat, he picked the fight with you today.
I did. You fucking idiots.
No. And you're on his side. Think about that.
No. The people who complain about everything being milked, that's pretty much what they do. It's not the same people. And then the people who want everything, but then like nothing. It's weird. I know that sounds like it's the same thing, but it's not. They are different. There's people that are just like people that are always in love with the dream, the promise.
Andor isn't about spectacle and giant like minecart races and adventure and shit. It's about intrigue and drama, which plays really well in a TV format. The fact of the matter is, even though you can paint a nice background, you can do lighting, you still need a cool minecart sequence, and there ain't nothing easy about doing that today. The best shot they got at it is in animation, unless they're going to do a live-action film with the budget. That's it. Because it can't be done. You can't do that. You can't do it.
But think about it, though. There was no minecart sequence in Raiders. Raiders doesn't have a minecart sequence.
Yeah, but the boulder thing couldn't have been done on TV very well back in the day.
The boulder could be done on TV today easily. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's what it would be. It would be the boulder thing, and you go, look, it's just ape, and it's like...
No, Rob, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. The boulder, metaphorically, happened was a big cinematic moment. One of the biggest cinematic moments in history. However, today it could have been done on Disney Plus. Had Raiders never happened and they created it today, that sequence could happen on Disney Plus. You would just need the right fire and the creative for the creative team. And so it's like the scope of the boulder isn't so big it couldn't happen. Yet it's probably people's favorite moment from Indiana Jones. And so that's why I believe in the premise. But I'm saying I don't have the idea for another Boulder, but also they haven't paid me yet. So when
but
they
this
want to
is
hire
why
me
like animation, I don't think people understand. Like I don't want a writer and a like one or two people sitting there trying to conjure this shit up. It doesn't work very well. But when you have like you look at Samurai Jack, you look at all the fucking adventures that shit went on. You know, the wild cast of characters, the crazy environments, just the scenarios you can jump into plays better in animation. It's easier in animation to do those things. You do those things in live action, it's 10 times harder. It's just harder because when it's in live action, people just expect something else from live action than animation. I don't know why. I don't agree with it, but that's how people tend to expect.
I mean, remember when, for instance, when Gareth Edwards, what was that movie he made? Was it Monsters? What was it? Something like that?
It was on the island or whatever when they were trapped behind the line. Yeah.
Imagine that guy, whatever Gareth Edwards became or is, set that aside. But that filmmaker making that movie, if he was hired to do an Indiana Jones story and a 3-part arc, I think he would have delivered. I think he would have delivered something. And like that's where I'm like putting an adventure in the jungle and characters that you meet and stuff like that. There's a lot of, I think there's just so much promise to it, man. You know what I mean? But we could be cynical about would they hire the right people? You know what I mean? Would they try to do it in the volume? Would they make it stupid? I mean, there's all of these pitfalls.
Yeah, they would. All of the
Pitfall.
above.
Let's just bring back Pitfall. Fuck Indiana Jones. Let's just do Pitfall. Remember Pitfall?
I remember. All right, anyways. I hated the Atari.
I liked Pitfall. Was one of the only good Atari games. But anyways, yeah. I mean, I think Lucasfilm is stupid for not having more Indiana Jones already on the back burner, and for Aphra. I mean, I'm glad that Andor's coming out. I'm really not trying to take a pot shot at Andor, but I do think it's a little bit insane that you would put Andor out before you would do Aphra. Like that's weird to me, because Andor didn't have a lot going for it other than people like Rogue One, but I don't think people necessarily like Rogue One because of Andor. I think I'm glad that Andor is coming out, but if they were talking about like actually like trying to do something on television that's going to make like Mandalorian style stuff,
given this cultural zeitgeist you like to talk about all the time, Jason, when we bring up Rebels versus the Clone Wars versus whenever
I hear zeitgeist, I get scared because of that conspiracy documentary that you
I remember 10 years ago. It was all bullshit. But I know. More people are aware of what Andor is in Aphra, period.
So, yeah. I mean, that's truly it. But the actual like the truth is that Aphra is another Mandalorian in weight.
But like you said, with the Clone Wars, you started as a cartoon, you got a whole legion of people. You know, you give them a little time to grow up, and then boom, you pop them with the fucking live action film. They'll know who that is.
Yeah, or they could just go with the live action Aphra.
And Jason doesn't like it when he uses his own logic.
No. See, you're saying that
you're always right until I use your arguments, and then
wrong. You're saying that I am saying go make a cartoon for 10 years, sit on it, then move into live action.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
That's not.
They got enough. 10 years ain't shit, bro. That's when DC's gonna get started. I heard.
Hold on. Rewind. That's what happened. That's not what I'm saying I wanted to happen. If I had got what I wanted, we would have went right to live action immediately.
Well, we've wanted what I wanted. That shit should have been in the prequels. We're bringing that one back up.
but that's I'm saying that happened, and then the ramifications of that are that an Ahsoka series is coming out, and all these people are fucking creaming in their jeans over it because they're going to see their drawn cartoon thingies or 3D wireframes and real puppets and people, and they are super excited about it. But I'm not saying that's like the best way to do it. I don't really believe that animation should be the testing ground. Oh, prove yourself, and then you could come into the live action show. Otherwise, we would have to wait 10 years for Mando to have a cartoon with the miraculous adventures of Baby Yoda, and then we get it in live action. Like I that's not the methodology I want. I'm saying when characters go into animation and it does build a fan base, then it does ensure a certain level of interest. But as we've seen, like what Avatar, the Last Airbender movie, just because you put something in live action doesn't mean the fans are going to accept it.
They went to go see it. The movie was just shit. Like,
yeah, I went and saw it. I went and saw it the opening night.
Literally cried in the theater. Like,
yeah, no, I was like, I love this cartoon. M. Night, he hasn't done that Plant movie yet. I think it's about that time, right? I don't think he did the Plant movie yet. And I was like, oh, well, who knows? And then I was like, wow, that was terrible. But yeah. But anyways, and just to be fucking clear, give me an Indiana Jones fucking cartoon, give me an Aphra cartoon, an Aphra series, and an Indiana Jones series. I got the time. I don't know why everybody's acting like I don't have the time. I got nothing going on. I'll watch it all.
That's true.
And then Luis wanted to know, says he would love a Young Indie show, but he wanted to know when the trailer was. I predict the trailer, if I had to guess, just the educated guess would be D23. Lucasfilm has a big slot, right? Lucasfilm has a big slot at the live action panel, and they don't have a Star Wars movie. So I think you're going to get Indiana Jones trailer. I think you're going to get Willow making an appearance. And then we'll probably get something more. Andor will be out or hitting at that point. So I don't think they'll do Andor. They might show the stuff that they showed for Ahsoka and Mandalorian at Celebration. In fact, I would bet money that they would do that because they've done that before, where they held back stuff from the convention and then showed it at the Disney conventions. And so that's most likely what's going to happen. So, and
Tales of the Jedi, you think?
Tales of the Jedi could be out by then. It's not clear. I don't know what's up with Tales. Actually, I don't know. Tales of the Jedi won't be out, so maybe they would. I don't know. But Tales of the Jedi isn't live action. This is more about the live action stuff, I believe.
Oh, at this place, Disney.
At D23.
D23. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's possible they would bend the rules and show that or something. But
I thought they did show something for. What's the other animated show that they had? Bad Batch. They didn't show anything there.
I don't remember anything for Bad Batch. In fact, I don't know if Bad Batch existed for the last D23. To be honest,
I'm getting confused with Disney Plus. Never mind.
Okay, yeah. D23 is the Disney convention. It's biannual. And so you only get it every 2 years. It's bi, and so you don't get. You really kind of so I kind of think it might have missed that one. And I don't remember. And then you got a pandemic, and I don't remember what was that sequel trilogy era cartoon, Resistance. I don't remember Resistance getting any love, or Rebels really got that at the D23 things too much either. So,
they were there. That's right.
Were they there?
Rebels.
They had the Thrawn.
Okay.
At D23, okay. Remember? Everyone's flipping out, and I was like, "Yeah, that'll be cool," and then it wasn't. So
I'm going to be an arrogant little prick and say my reveals and those reveals aren't the same. So I remember the first time I saw Thrawn and heard about Thrawn. I don't really remember when they confirmed it now. But as the truth says,
I hear you.
Brother said to me today he wants to watch all Star Wars films again, plus see the shows for the first time. Very happy about this. He loved 7, 8, 9 and Solo, but didn't care for 1 through 6 over 10 years ago. You know, I don't know how old is your brother? Because they're with kids, I have found, like my kids anyways, that there's certain times when they will not watch anything old. And if it's old, it's like there's just something that doesn't fit into their cultural understanding about how things are or should be. And then it's not until they hit this other point, this little maturity milestone, and then they're able to take in films from different times and understand that and be okay with it. So if he's kind of a youngin, then or if he's because that was over 10 years ago, so he's probably a teenager. But I think that's a pretty good space when you're teens to start liking older films and films from different times, especially. But the big thing I think that somebody new coming in today has to deal with is the fact that the original trilogy The prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy, they have commonalities that allow them to be the same series, but they do feel like they were made in different decades because they were. They are all kind of products of their
And
own
by
time
totally different directors.
by different directors and different eras, different companies, essentially.
Different
when you get down
producers.
to it. Yeah, and so it's like that's like the whole thing. Like even today, like I am a big prequel fan, but when I go watch the prequels now, the acting didn't bother me originally. I was just like, yeah, okay, this is what it is. But now whenever I have continual Star Wars, like with the acting kind of set in a certain tones and stuff, it does feel weird. Even watching Kenobi now and seeing like what Ewan does in Kenobi, and then go watching the prequels, and you're like, oh man, I've seen him so much better as an actor now. That it's sort of, I wouldn't say it's ruined the prequels for me, but it's taken a little bit of the shine off of it for me in that way, where something that I was past, that just didn't bother me. Now it sticks out to me. It's weird.
I came out of Jackie Brown thinking Sam Jackson should have won the Oscar that year, and to see him sit there as Mace Windu and give a Spock eyebrow just is heart wrenching. You know,
You just reminded me of that guy from Jackie Brown that's in Breaking Bad stuff. Man, I was so mad last night.
I remember.
Don't talk to me about it. I haven't watched it.
I remember seeing.
About what?
Go ahead.
About Breaking Bad. Don't talk about it. I mean, Better Call Saul.
Wait, you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. Because
No,
we
me either.
dealt with the. We were.
No, I haven't watched it either. And then I went and I finished season 5, so I went and subscribed to AMC Plus to watch the current season, and they don't have it. So AMC
Yeah, they're
Plus,
up till certain days. That's why.
yeah, fuck
I
AMC Plus.
Forgot to tell you about that.
Their service is stupid
bullshit.
and dog shit. What a fucking shit idiotic way to run a fucking thing. Nobody cares about your fucking 10 fucking zombie spin-off bullshit shows.
No.
Only reason why anybody's gonna watch your fucking app is to watch the Breaking Bad shit, and then you don't even got it. So fuck off. I hate your thing. I unsubscribed, got my money back, I fucking deleted it. I'm never do it again. I heard they're not making any more Breaking Bad shit. So good, because I fucking hate you, AMC, and you fucking ruined the Vampire Chronicles. Everything you're doing is fucking dog shit. You have your head up your ass. You don't know what you're doing. You have a bunch of people skating on the path of past success. And whoever's there now, you're all fucking idiots. You don't know what you're doing. I hope even though Disney has its head up its ass, I hope it never has its head up its ass as far as AMC does right now. Yeah, fuck them.
Wow.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I fucking hate them. Fucking stupid. What's going on, Max?
Very angry.
I get
It's
mad,
Jason's week to be.
I get mad,
Normally
Max.
it's me, but
Yeah.
Mad Max.
You're
she's
fucking
never heard
crazy
that one.
today.
I'm fucking crazy. Well, you stole that fucking necklace. It set me off once I knew you were a thief.
No, isn't it awesome?
You stole that shit.
No, I didn't steal.
People don't know this, but Jason's the reason Anne Hesh took off in her car.
Oh my god!
Okay, you guys want to know how
They
it
were
happened?
arguing about Indiana Jones.
No, it went like this. Yo, Ann, what's up? Want to do a bunch of cocaine
no.
race? Cocaine race! And then I forgot. I didn't go.
Yeah, you just had her do it.
No, I was just
you
gonna
know-
say that about this
Mhm.
when you were talking about Samuel Jackson. I remember seeing Mace Windu for the first time on screen, and I guess people that were used to seeing him in different movies, they started
Yeah.
chuckling. They were chuckling. They started laughing.
Oh.
Yeah.
You mean it's this boy?
Yeah,
I remember that trailer.
I mean, he came on my radar with Coming to America, you know? So it's like, I've always known. I mean, like, I was like, the least amount of emotion. The guy's a passionate, angry, happy, suave, you know, I mean, he's very suave. And
Uh-huh.
Jackie Brown, you know, like, that fucking, I don't know, man, just sits there staring. I'm like, all right, that's,
Well,
damn it, George.
no, well, I mean, they didn't. It's kind of weird that they, you know, he was just supposed to be the guy who sat there. That was the role. And then he was
Should have
like,
made him Qui-Gon.
can I be that guy? You know? And then
Be like, Leeson.
well,
Leeson.
no, but that's
Leeson, you sit and stare. Mace Windu, you run around and do shit. You know, like.
But if they had cast Tupac and then Tupac died, it would have been fine because they could have just used him like sitting there, like from the costume test, CGI'd him. They almost got Tupac, by the way, because people don't know. That's why I'm saying that. Or he was. They considered Tupac, but I think George ultimately agreed with you because that's why he gave him the fight in Attack of the Clones and then had him become the sacrificial Jedi Lamb in Episode 3. You know, but yeah. Wait, Tyrant says, wait, did add Deadpool and Logan, but refused to add this? Are the Disney Plus versions of Deadpool and Logan the regular cuts?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, they are.
So what? So everything's fine? Everything's good?
Everything's fine, yes.
Asishu says, he went on to ask me when the next film with John, Daisy, and Oscar is coming. Must be nice not knowing about the fandom online and what happens in Star Wars after leaving the theater. Yeah, you could probably say that again. I mean, that's
people
probably,
don't.
Yeah, most people don't. And
that's why when these guys, you know, like is it 3 to 6% of the population is really on Twitter? It's just 3 to 6%. It's nobody. Like seriously, I mean, we're all having fun. We're having our like geek discussions here because, like most geeks, we got nowhere else to go. But the bad faith actors and the grifters, those guys are having the same conversations with themselves too. They're reaching nobody with that. Honestly, all they're doing is harassing someone's social media. And unfortunately, actors need social media, you know, to be relevant. Most of them do. When you get big enough, you don't. But most paid actors need to be visible. So it's like, it's just tough. That's really what they're just there is to harass actors and creatives at the end of the day.
Louise says, I'm afraid of Plagueis not being in the Acolyte. It would be such a disappointment if they don't even mention him. I mean, it's going to go two ways. I mean, either he's not in it and he would be an emerging character eventually. I mean, depending on, you know, yeah, I mean, it really could go that way. I mean, it's possible. I mean, depending on what their plan for Acolyte is, we don't really know much about that, but I do think it will go that way. I mean, they're not. It would be a weird tease to line up all of that and then ignore it. Like that would be super weird. Like even like when it was like the Snoke stuff and people were like, why aren't they just doing that? Well, it's like from the very second it was Snoke and not Plagueis, you knew it wasn't Plagueis, and the people just couldn't let it go. So they kept like pushing it. In this instance, though, if you were to put Snoke and then put him on Plagueis' planet with Plagueis' friends and Plagueis' religion and having Plagueis' job, you'd be like, why isn't okay? So now you're just fucking with us. Like that's what it would be.
Plagueis by proxy, huh?
Plagueis by proxy. Yeah.
I don't know why I like that word.
I like it too. Like that one little girl who had Munchausen or the Munchausen by proxy thing.
Yeah.
But what was that?
That's
girl's
what
name?
Plagueis. That's what Snoke has. Plagueis by
proxy.
proxy.
By proxy.
Yeah.
So I want to do everything that Plagueis does to get all the sympathy for being Plagueis. You actually want Indy in Iceland. I'll see what happens when Indy goes to Iceland. I'll preach it, Joel. Indy in Indiana. Why not? That's what I say. I mean, when I was a little kid, I just assumed he was from Indiana. And then George Lucas is like, nah, he's not. I was like, okay.
Indiana Jones and the January 6th riots. You know? I voted for Ike. What the fuck? You know?
Is Cadence giving out memberships again?
Conservatives are against abortion. I used to just punch him in the stomach.
I gotta say, if Cadence gave a membership to Planet Fitness, thank you for being a member, Planet Fitness.
Thank you.
I think Planet Fitness should give Cadence a membership to Planet Fitness.
And Pizza Day.
And only on Pizza Day, anyways. He doesn't really
Pizza
need
Day
it.
coming to you next summer on the 2-year anniversary.
Rick Jones says time travel will most likely be one event. Yeah, we know. I mean, I know. Like I said, I know about like this like weird chamber. Oh, that's Max. About this weird chamber in the basement of probably the castle. So there is a chance that that's like what it is that there, but we do see things where like we have leaks that point towards there being a sequence with
Invasion.
Indiana Jones and
Invasion.
what's the lady who from Solo: A Star Wars Story who played the droid? Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And her character, and then we have like Roman soldiers and stuff. So it does seem like he does actually, but I'm curious if it's going to be like, is it time travel, or is it sort of like, is it using like technologies like Bob Lazar talked about, like Looking Glass, or was that what it was called, Project Looking Glass?
Yeah, but it was that look. He said Looking Glass was nothing to do with actually going back in time. It had to do with just the way, you know how like, gravity, when you go up in the air in space, like time moves differently because of gravity. It has to do with that.
Okay, but once again, Indiana Jones doesn't care. He'll
just
take
had a cool name, Looking Glass.
Yeah,
made it think it was like looking, and he was very specific. Not about like looking into the wagon train days. That's what he actually said.
Okay, yeah. But Indiana Jones will take the first adventure. We'll take the best idea that for fun in the story. So like I'm saying, I'm not betting on anything. I'm saying I would not be surprised if maybe it does show the past. If it does,
I want to see Indiana Jones in the rocket car. So this is where he builds a rocket car and then he goes back in time.
Like because I mean, if you were to use sort of like forensic archaeology, and then you could find out where the Shroud of Turin should be, for instance. Then you were able to look back at that moment in time. Yeah. That would allow the Nazis to get the Shroud of Turin. Like,
who's Bobby Lazar?
He's like one of the greatest UFO investigators of our time.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
I'd really rather people don't remember that. I'd really rather they just buy my chemical supplies, chemistry sets.
Not Captain Crunch?
Ham radios. Yeah. And
Cadence
my Element
says
15 gold chains.
Cadence, for Tracula producer, says, Jesus Christ, cut the ends of the strings off, you heathen. Oh, my guitar from earlier.
Oh, someone say Jesus. No, Santa, no, don't do it. It's his rival.
Yes,
Santa and Jesus fight.
Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Because Indiana Jones told me so.
Hey, little buddy, what's your major malfunction?
Hey, little buddy, how about we get some wire cutters and cut those strings? Robert Siegler says, it's not like India is taking back the artifacts home and selling them on the black market. He's getting the items so the Nazis didn't. He's more of a Robin Hood type for artifacts than a pillager. But it depends on what time you're looking at.
But you can sell them. You can sell them on eBay. And that's where I think most of my money is selling chemistry sets. And
all right, Bobby,
150. What?
Bobby, you famously said or claimed that the 9 or so UFOs that the U.S. government has at, was it S4?
Did I say that?
You did. And you said that we didn't, they weren't crashes, that we dug them up. They were archaeological finds.
I don't even remember what I had for breakfast. So,
but wouldn't you like to see an episode of an Indiana Jones series where he digs up those UFOs in 1942 during World War II?
You wouldn't know what to do with them. They're really not within our comprehension.
That's why we got you, Bobby. That's your job. He just needs to get it away from the Nazis.
I gotta talk to Corbell, and he approves of all my moves right now. So I gotta.
Yeah, Corbell's like, you know what would be cool is if you got like a really cool hat, Jason, that was like Indiana Jones, but like the size of a witch's hat. Have you seen?
I'm gonna be honest. At this point, Corbell's coming off to me more like Fred Durst. Just saying.
Fair enough. Yeah. So is Elizondo, in certain ways.
He's coming off like Colonel Tom Parker.
He's like, I saw, I can't remember the guys. Is it Jesse Acosta? No, Jesse Acosta's our friend. Some guy named Jesse. He has like a YouTube show. It's like paranormal stuff, and it's generally interesting for what it is. He went to Skinwalker Ranch this last month or whatever, and his new episode is about that. And he's all, I talked to Lou Elizondo about it, and he told me, "Get humble before you go. You need to get humble." And I'm just like, "Oh God, this guy's
He's one of
coming
those
off.
old timey religion fuckers.
It's really coming off.
It's
like
really come to Jesus shit right there.
it's definitely is. I mean, I'm not. Let's put it this way. My mind is not made up on Elizondo, but that pendulum is way on the left side of this. Doesn't seem on the up and up to me.
I made up my mind years ago, Jason. You'll get there. You'll see.
You don't believe in anybody or about Elizondo himself?
Elizondo. Whether I believe him or not, I just don't care for his character. I don't care for him as a person.
I think it's looking more and more like Elizondo is somebody who realized that they could take this job looking at paranormal stuff for the government and parlay it into a huge multimedia corporation. I think that's what we're seeing. Yeah, I know. But I mean, you hope it's not going to go that way. You hope that's not the case. And but probably going that way.
Pretty soon you'll start talking about hoaxes. You'll see.
We'll see. But I would love to be wrong. It would be great if the promise of the premise of Elizondo.
Promise of the promise.
Promise of the promise. Promise of the premise.
Promise of the premise.
Promise keepers. Let's go together, Rob.
Oh no, it sounds like oath keepers to me.
God, I had to go to the Harvest Festival at Angels Stadium.
Oh no, what?
My parents made me when I was 15. Decided
so 90s.
You're going to start going to church, and I don't want to go. I'm very mad, and I'm watching a bunch of guys in mullets, my mortal enemies for the record, and not the cool ones from Australia who play punk rock today, but a whole different type, a Jeff Foxworthy type. It's a whole stadium full of them, and my patience ran out. I don't know what happened, but for some reason they said you could go down onto the field and you could, accept Jesus into your heart. And for whatever reason, it got really quiet and I didn't notice. And I got really loud and I said, "Oh my God, all of these people just want to go out onto the baseball field. Jesus. Yeah, right." I just meant to say that to my parents so that way they would know not to make me go again. And, everybody looked at me and started going, "We'll pray for you. We'll pray for you." And I was like, don't, I'm good.
I'll pray for you, Jason.
Yeah.
I tell them to pray for me so they waste time because I'm not doing shit for them. Like, you go, "You against religion?" It's like, yeah. I'm against anybody that believes I'm going to burn for all eternity because I don't buy into their bullshit mythology.
The very next day, I remember my grandfather, who's very big on the Bible, but I will say he really put his, he really practiced what he preached, though. I'll give him credit for that. And no, I mean, like he was
spreading plagues and
no, he was
not that Bible.
No, he really helped people. Like he gave people like the last of his money and stuff. Like,
well, no one helped anybody till the Bible was written. You know that, Jason.
No, I know, but I'm saying like he lived by it. Like he followed it. He was
like the Crusades,
but he wasn't a mean evil person.
Like Michael Landon's Bible, not like the one that actually was forced upon people throughout Europe.
We watched a lot of Highway to Heaven growing up.
I know you
we did.
And you're like, when are they playing the song with Led Zeppelin?
Yeah. Oh, that was Stairway to Heaven. We were confused. But anyways, where was I going? Oh yeah, so the very next day though, something happened at their church that was like, you need to bring in the whole family. You need to get all of the money into this church, kind of thing. And they make me go and they get my grandpa. But my grandpa came from the kind of church where you yelled "Amen" when you liked something. Just kidding. If you liked, they would just yell it out. And they brought my grandpa there, and my grandpa says "Amen," and the guy told him to be quiet. And I was like, "Fuck you, man." That was the last time I ever had to go to church. That was the last time they ever asked me. And I won, though, because it was my grandfather shouting "Amen." Somebody tell him he couldn't. It was the moment. It was my moment.
Did they have donuts, though?
Fuck you. I was disinvited from church.
Did they have donuts?
No. They didn't have anything.
See, you would have gone if they had donuts. That's why I went. Sat there chuckling the whole fucking time with my girlfriend because her stupid family went to that bullshit. But they had donuts, so I could put up with it.
I don't know, man. It was kind of more fun, like when your parents would go to church and you make a big thing of macaroni and cheese and eat it and jack off, and nobody could tell you no. It's good times.
Going to hang out with my girlfriend. I don't know, dude.
Matt Risman says Mon Mothma had been revealed to be Han and Leia's wedding planner in the new Princess and the Scoundrel novel. Is there anything she cannot do?
Is that
true? Look, stop reading those books. I beg of you. The only book you should be reading is Ronin. No one
Is
will
that
read
real?
She plans rebellion and she plans weddings. What? It makes sense.
I don't know. Probably. Who knows?
Okay, here's a big spoiler, you guys. I know who played 9/11, Mon Mothma. It was her.
Yeah. Well, did you know the Death Star explosion had nothing to do with Luke? It was actually just a gender reveal party.
Plan 9 from outer space, Mon Mothma's idea.
It's still cool to make fun of those, right? It's not. I feel like after COVID, people were just holding off on them gender reveal parties. Yeah.
Joel says, "I am pro Young Indy." You inserted a comment in there. Hey, whoa. Don, how's it going, Don? Hello, Jason and everyone. Hello, Don. How are you?
Don is the king.
Dawn of the Dead. So Tyrant says Han discovers a Stargate. He enters and comes out a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away as Dr. Aphra. What? Yeah, Indiana Jones quantum leaps into Dr. Aphra. I like where you're going with that.
He becomes a bisexual teenage girl. I'll watch it.
And what do you call it?
I'll watch any guy who voted for Eisenhower have to do
and
that.
MacGyver could be Indy's brother.
Let's be honest. MacGyver is really what Willie Scott was up to, right? Mm-hmm. Willie Scott hit up a dude and then made him MacGyver. She hated him because he was all into shit, and she was like, "Argh."
There was this rumor in the 90s that was so prevalent, I think it probably had some legs. And it's when they were going to do the early versions of Indy, they were looking at including his brother, and it was going to be Kevin Costner as Indiana Jones's brother. And man, I love me some Prince of Thieves era Costner, but once you get past Prince of Thieves, I'm kind of out. And I'm kind of, I don't know. Part of me is glad that never happened. A big part of me is glad.
Yeah, that's not true, Jason. That's not true. He was always my pick for Kyle Katarn or Dash Rendar. I could never choose. So
Don says they're crazy not having Anthony Ingruber portraying a young Harrison Ford. He was amazing in Age of Adeline as his younger self. Yeah. That's
yeah. Well, I wanted his brother to be played by Leonardo DiCaprio. No. I saw him in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and I thought, that's Indy's brother.
What's Eating Gilbert's Grapes?
Yeah, he's got,
Don, the thing I always heard, and I think it's like a little bit goes it's back and forth, was that Ingruber is tested for stuff before, and that the vibe was that he wasn't ready or couldn't carry a feature film. And carrying a feature film when you haven't done one is pretty big deal, and there's a lot to that. But I'd be okay with them trying something
hard.
with him.
No, well, I mean, ask Ronnie.
But
he carry a film, never done it before.
There's also a rumor that he's involved in the Indiana Jones film and it was thing that goes around too. I don't know if it has any merit. I haven't seen anything that made me think it's real though. But
he just shows up on set, Jason. It's ridiculous. Like he won't. He goes, "I'm Indy," and you're like, "No, you're not. You're MacGyver Gruber."
Yeah, Joel. I will say Parks and Rec when I mean Community, and I will say Community when I mean Parks and Rec. I don't know why. Just that era, I do that sometimes. But
it happens to the best of us, Jason.
Tyrant says Chris Pratt was okay in that one future Alien movie, but he's either pretty solid or really terrible. Yeah, I don't have anything against the guy. I don't care about his religion or his views. I don't give a shit about him one way or the other. Like how people on Twitter are always trying to cancel him for farting and shit. I don't care. But it's like
I've been there.
but it's Marcia did cancel you for your Lucas farts.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's true. She said that they smelled like rat cheese.
That's disgusting.
She said, I don't care what you smell. Get in there. And I was like, I'm going to put that in a movie one day.
Well, you shouldn't have Dutch oven Marcia Lucas. Okay.
Well, yeah, I am a diabetic. So, yeah.
It's true. Insulin farts.
I don't think I could top that joke. I came out of nowhere. Getting out of the.
What do you mean you?
It's too good.
That was George Lucas.
Yeah, but I slip them notes like Fred
oh.
would to Howard and all them. Like
I know you're lying because he can't read. Tyrant says Chris Pratt was okay in that one. The thing about that I also think I should add about to the Chris Pratt stuff and just why I don't believe it in general is I think by the time they get to doing probably anything live action with Indy again, I think Chris Pratt is going to kind of be on the way out of those roles in that kind of part of his career, maybe.
Sure.
And the thing to remember is that Harrison Ford is a unique creature in that he was always 45 and was 45 until he was 80. Like you know what I mean though? Like he always had
Tom Cruise.
Yeah. And Tom Cruise has like plastic surgery and looks weird now though. But Harrison Ford didn't need it. He just like Harrison Ford in A New Hope. I don't know. The guy's supposed to be like 28. He doesn't look 28 to me at all. He looks like he's in his 40s to me. But then when he's in his 40s, he still looks like he's in his 40s. He's just like a different version of a good-looking 40-year-old man for most of his life. So, so he's, I think, unique, but also plays the character as the character ages. And so I don't think that they're going to want aren't they recasting Superman right now? Because they
don't know what they're doing.
Okay,
Nobody knows what they're doing.
One thing that was going on corporately was that they were going to recast Superman because that guy is getting up there. And if they want to do the next 10 years with the Superman, they don't want somebody who's going to be 55.
They cast Robert Downey Jr. was almost 50, but okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Robert Downey Jr. is also, I mean, that guy who plays Superman's a great looking guy. So I don't really see the problem.
No one knew Robert Downey. No, Robert Downey Jr. did not look ageless or in shape in Zodiac, Jason. Like, it's just, like this idea of casting guys because they can last. It's just, I look better now in my 40s than my dad did in his 30s. It's crazy. And I know why. Lack of I don't drink and I sleep. Like that.
You should smoke.
Like, huh? Hell.
You should consider smoking.
Grounds for divorce.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm gonna say though is that if there was somebody that was the best person in the world, the best idea of all time to play the part, I think that they would take that person regardless of age.
I want to see Matt Berry with the whip and like swing. Whip it good. And then
you might just need to
I meant to do that.
2,000 or 3,000, he might just do it for you.
Yeah.
But anyways, I would not bet on Chris Pratt doing any of that stuff, and I could be wrong though. I mean, there's people who have careers in action stuff that still have it. I don't understand why.
Vin Diesel.
Well, he's hilarious though.
King Chris.
Maybe they could cast Pierce Brosnan as the new Indy. Why would they get that? He's old. He's too old to be Indiana Jones.
Hey, why don't they cast Dom DeLuise? Just dig up his corpse, put him in there too.
He's like, oh, this belongs in a museum. Whoa. I would watch that. It's weird. Like it's
Captain Chaos and the Temple of Doom. I'd watch it.
Keanu Reeves is like somebody that I feel like I should hate, but I don't, because he'll always be Ted. And
you see the guy who fucked that one up in the interview?
Oh yeah, but I know the difference. I just Indiana Jones Excellent Adventure. Yeah, I would watch that. I'd watch that. I actually really do love. I actually love time travel. Is probably my favorite genre in totality. When you look at all of the things that I actually am into, it probably is my favorite like genre of storytelling.
Mine too.
I just don't like it when it's introduced into something that isn't time travel as a genre. Like,
well, Star Wars is different because it's so vast. You don't need it. Like you just don't need it. You get no benefit of like it's like time travel in Lord of the Rings. It's a fantasy world. It doesn't really matter.
We time traveled to this other place where we eat mutton and
where they're just moving. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just move carts around now. So I don't fucking know it. You know, like so.
Look,
travel
you're going back so far. The wheels, they're square. Idiots, make them round. Oh no, I've changed history.
Was that in a Mel Brooks movie? Because if it wasn't, it should have been.
But I
should have been.
I just wrote it.
Should have been.
I think that's my idea, but maybe I'm wrong. Was that? I mean, I did like History of the World Part 1, and I hadn't seen it in years, and it's on sale on Vudu for $5, and I almost bought it, but I didn't. But maybe it's in that. But Rob, oh yeah.
Have you? Is it about? I think it was about time travel. Time after time.
Time after time.
Is that with Mary?
Nicholas? Yeah. It's with Mary Steenburgen. Yeah. So the director of that was Nicholas Meyer. He wrote and directed it. And if you look at the time machine dial in that movie, that's the same one that's in the DeLorean. Back
in Back to the Future. I was in the Back to the Future fan club when Part 3 was coming out. The magazine, it had this article talking about how I think like he lost Mary Steenburgen in that movie. Christopher Lloyd to some other actor. And they're like, and now he's gonna get her. Back to the Future Part 3 fucking owns. And I was like, yeah, get her, Doc. Do her hard.
Yeah, well, he's getting Roddy McDowell's sloppy seconds because she's a little poonhound in that one, man.
I gotta say,
she's frisky.
Mary
she's frisky, bro. In that movie.
only got hotter with age. So
yeah.
Sloppy seconds is probably better than the newer model.
Great Scott! I'll take it, Marty. You know.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a lot of options. It's better than marrying. It's better than your mom. Like, right, Marty? Yeah. I can't do a voice.
Man, but fucking Leah Thompson was hot though.
Especially in summer school.
I fucking hate you. Don says, you guys are really stretching out for known people. Go with Anthony Ingruber. If you don't know him, go watch The Age of Adeline with Blake Lively in it, and he's much like I have. I know
like molasses drying. You know?
Yeah, the movie wasn't memorable to me, but like I say, like Anthony Ingruber. Let's put it this way: we get mad that Anthony Ingruber isn't our Harrison Ford surrogate. But if he's a Harrison Ford,
looks like
hold on though. If he is a Harrison Ford surrogate, he should be the biggest actor in Hollywood. Why aren't other casting people taking Anthony Ingruber and making him into a star in their movies? So what I'm trying to say is we could blame Lucasfilm, but what about everybody else? Because if you could tell any casting agent young Harrison Ford is down the street, you can go get him right now, they would probably run out there and grab him. And so honestly, I could be wrong though. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that makes sense.
They're just casting him because of his physical appearance, and at this point, you can hire a real actor and just deep fake. I mean, like seriously. So like, and I always say this: like when you watch Harrison Ford as Bob Fett in American Graffiti, he just pulls up in the car. That dude's a fucking like your girlfriend will leave you for him. He'll take your girlfriend. Every woman's just creaming in her pants looking at that fucking dude just act.
Sounds like Marsha Lucas wanted to leave Lucas for him. She's because he's fine. He makes my Marsha Lucas poontang fucking tingle.
Yeah,
it tickles my tingle. It tingles my tickle, George. And he was like, okay. And she's like, hey, you should get that fucking Carpenter. He's fucking hot. Let's get his. I just want to watch his ass fucking make that fucking library.
No.
Like, okay.
When she brought up the whole poontang thing, Jason, I told her I can't drink tang because I'm a diabetic.
I'm sorry, Lucas. I'm sorry. It was Vietnam, though. We said that.
It's so stupid.
Joel's not wrong. There are Nazi indie toys, but that was about 30 years before, different time.
Yeah, you can buy a Hitler doll. It doesn't make it an official fucking Indiana Jones.
Also, it's that weird time. What's that, Max?
I'm gonna get Tang now.
As long as you're not a diabetic like George. King Chris says Nick Cage can play Indy. Chris, what are you doing to me? What are you doing? Why are you trying to hurt me? Man, it's Nicolas Cage is fucking amazing though, isn't he? Because I both hate and love him at the same time. Like he's the other one. You don't know what you're gonna get with
bench
that
pressed
guy.
a girl in a bikini in a movie, right? Remember that?
What movie was that?
Kiss of Death?
Vampire's Kiss?
No, Kiss of Death. You never seen it?
Okay.
He's got
I
the
don't
scene where
know.
he's bench pressing and he's got like no muscles when he's doing it. Like so
Yeah.
it's like, and he's like regular, but he's like just it's great.
Yeah.
Great. Did you ever see the show there was a show that had like a pilot in the 80s and Nick Cage was in it with Crispin Glover. And it was supposed to be like kind of like a laughing, but like kids that were like in the 80s like hanging around and having jokes, and none of it did well. It's crazy to watch.
It sounds like you're proposing Square Pigs for Maniacs. Remember Square Pigs?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good show.
No.
It was with that horse lady, the horse lady from Sex and the City. It was like her 80s show.
It was
Sarah
Sarah Jessica Parker was in that.
Yeah. And I'm just happy to see mutants getting work. You know what I mean? Like
this is 80, 81, I want to say.
Yeah, Square Pigs was about that time, I'd say, right? About 82 to 82, 83, 84 ish.
It was early 80s.
Yeah, I remember watching it with Mr. Wizard.
That's the first time I ever saw like Mr. Wizard was the first time I ever saw like a Intuos pen. He had one of those pencils, right? And you can move it around. You could see it on the computer.
On Nickelodeon?
And I looked at it. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's Mr. Wizard World. Never mind.
Mr. Wizard, yeah. So it's like the old science guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully he didn't touch any. I hope he didn't. So Mr. Wizard.
No, I mean it wasn't because he was weird. It was because it was for science.
Right. Okay. Okay, Jason. But anyway, so that's the first time I saw it, and I remember seeing it going like, well, once that comes to all the computers, then I don't have to worry about buying pencils ever again.
Right now, there's somebody somewhere who's like watching the show who was on the show, and they're like, wait a minute, I was molested by Mr. Wizard.
Like, I hope not, man. Like
that wasn't for science the whole time. No, Mr. Wizard seemed like he was on the up and up. I'm gonna, you know what? Let's just say Mr. Wizard.
Mr. Wizard fought in World War II probably, so he could definitely kick Bill Nye's ass, you know. And maybe, well, I don't know about Beekman though. Beekman's fucking weird.
Jesse Beekman?
Beekman's World.
Oh, Arya says delay She-Hulk and release Andor. Tony said all 12 episodes are ready. Why is Marvel getting another win? I don't. It's the same company, Arya. I mean, there's no winning and losing between those things. They're going to do what's best for them on whole. So, yeah, on Hulk, yeah. But I mean, once again, I am with you at the same time. I would have watched Andor and She-Hulk at the same time. I would have watched them on the same night, probably the same day. It would have been fine. I don't know why they act like it's either or.
Oh, you're telling me you watch more than one TV series a week, Jason?
I can do that. Sometimes I can do that.
What? No, you can only watch one thing a week.
Oh, I said either or. I mean and/or.
And/or.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Very clever.
Oh man, Javier Bardem would make a good Indy. Do I know him? I'm not sure if I know. Who's Javier Bardem?
That's the guy with the air hose that would kill people in our cars with the air hose.
What?
Yeah, No Country for Old Men, right? He was the guy who'd walk up and then he'd hit you with like that airbrush hose, and he'd walk up and hit you in the head with it.
Oh wow! Oh whoa! I think I want Javier Angel Encinitas Bardem to play Jesse in the Making Star Wars movie. That's what I want. I've decided to cast him as Jesse. He's gonna come in and be like, why did you guys get Javier Bardem to play that role? Because we don't actually have the sound effect. He has to do that with his mouth.
I demand to be played by whoever did the voice for Jimmy Neutron's buddy. I like that kid.
Okay,
that best represents me.
I'll play myself.
You could play yourself. Okay, that's fair.
I'll allow it.
I just hope Jonah Hill ain't busy. Luis says, "Are you guys gonna watch Rings of Power?"
Look, man, it might be good, but I gotta tell you, every time someone says that name, I just keep thinking like it's like a, the eighth wave of like He-Man figures, right? Or it's like filled with all like.
I think of Captain Power, and I imagine that Captain Power putting on a ring and going, "We got a second season."
And this is the one where like He-Man got a special ring that anyone can get the He-Man powers,
or like the Power
can
Glove.
become He-Man.
I sometimes think of the Power Glove. It's so bad, But Luis, I don't really give a shit about Lord of the Rings. I don't hate it. I just kind of I'm like about it. It's like, oh yeah, a bunch of wizards and shit. Like I like to see the wizards when they do stuff. There's just a lot of wizards just being like and crying and shit. Not my thing. But I'll probably check it out. As long as everybody's white. What? No, I'm kidding. That was like a big thing, right? That everybody's mad that like elves are not white now or something. And I really don't care.
Yeah, they're also not fucking real. So like,
yeah, so I don't care. Oh, the Tolkien was talking about mythology of the. I don't care about fucking Aryan mythology either. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Aryan mythology.
You know what I mean? That's what at the end of the day, what they're getting upset about. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, honestly though, it probably for me, I see it as an opportunity for me to like that stuff more. That's probably like if the show's good, it'll probably be my in to it because like the Lord of the Rings movies, my Ingruber, because I've watched the Lord of the Rings movies before. I saw them in the theater and stuff, and I had a good time like watching it. I enjoyed like the experience for the most part, but I also like when I try to like watch it like as like I don't find it it's like a comfort show. I can't put on Fellowship of the Ring and just be like, it's a rainy day, let's watch Fellowship of the Ring. It doesn't do it for me. I go to my buddy here, Willow. And I'm not saying that those things offer the same things. I don't think that yet they do. It's just like, some people, I would say Lord of the Rings, to me, it sounds like steak, but you know what? I'm a fucking McDonald's guy. You know what I mean?
It does sound like a He-Man figure set, dude.
Rings of Power.
Stupid. I don't like it.
Yeah, it definitely has like when I think of Rings of Power, I do see like the Captain Power kids, and they're all putting rings on. That's actually I think what I see when I think of it. But
shit on Captain Power, man.
Hey,
Tank from Running Man was in that show.
That's why, but that's also why I don't really.
Drew did a great poster for Captain Power, man.
I said Captain Power. I mean Captain Planet.
Oh, okay.
Captain Planet is what I meant. Remember all the kids on that. And get to Captain Planet, don't they all put on rings and then they get like fire, wind, rocks? I don't remember what it was.
Captain Power was dope. J. Michael Straczynski made that. It was cool.
Yeah. EJ says, most people younger than me don't really like Indiana Jones. I think Zoomers don't have a great opinion of those movies. And I think that it has more to do with the fact that there wasn't anything about it. It wasn't a thing.
And Zoomers didn't know what the fuck Top Gun was, and just look what just made fucking like almost $2 billion. You know what I mean? Like you make a good movie, everyone says you got to go see. Zoomers and every other generation after them will just go and see it because they heard it's cool. That's it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
By the way, I gotta say, I'm totally not telling everybody that an IMAX strip of Top Gun linked on the internet just now. So somebody just messaged me.
It's probably got but it's got a floating porn ad or a lamp. We got to get one of those with the floating lamb head ad that moves all around the screen so you can't fucking watch the film. Those ads are a good thing. My buddy goes, you go watch it. It's got a floating ad. I can't watch it. I can't do it.
No.
So I just wait now. Just wait.
Yeah. I wouldn't. But yeah, you just have to have
even for films I had no want to pay for. Like there's some films I'm like, I'm not paying for that. Wouldn't have paid for it. Don't give a shit. Not watching it, not stealing money because I'm not paying for it. Then they see that fucking ad. Now I'm paying for it.
Yeah, fair enough. Baby Belloc. Yeah. No, but what I was saying to EJ was that I just think that it's the fact that like nothing really came out. They haven't really had any exposure since the acquisition by Disney in 2012. Indiana Jones has just kind of been quiet. There hasn't been like anniversary style release or anything like that. It's just been completely off the radar. And
There's been more
regardless,
Venom content than Indiana Jones.
yeah,
Sad to say.
yeah, no, there has, and I really do believe that Indiana Jones is as valuable of a character as any Iron Man, Batman, Aquaman, any superhero concept. I think he has onto himself as one single character more than any singular Star Wars character could offer. Because Star Wars always has that ensemble, attribute to it. Indy still is always the main character in his things, even though his films are at times ensemble based. Yeah, the Short Round and his dad and you know what I mean, Sala, like he has great sidekicks, and Marion, like great characters that accompany him. Dan Aykroyd for a few, and but they don't like I've never left an Indiana Jones movie going, boy, love Short Round, I fucking love Short Round, so don't take this the wrong way, but I don't leave going, boy, that kid stole the movie from Indiana Jones. I was like, no, Indiana Jones has the coolest friends. Like that's like, because Harrison Ford was so fucking good. And so, but also I think Indiana Jones, like he's always if the character's written correctly, it would always still be like the focal point, even with an ensemble cast of characters. But I would be afraid of them going and trying to be like, oh, and now we need to remember when we gave Jeff Goldblum the Black Daughter, like remember, like like those bad like 90s like corporate versions of PC ideas. I would hate it.
No, the worst part was her doing fucking that. The whole thing about that was her doing those goddamn gymnastics in the rickety old shed that could barely hold back a raptor.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
No, it was just like a bunch of like focus tested style ideas movie. And anyways, what I would hope that they would do with Indiana Jones, if they ever did do that though, could be interesting for Indiana Jones to deal with the time in which he is placed, like, and to have shown what could a white hero have done, what should they have done, but how hard was it to like do it in certain stories, like if you had Indy with the red tails, for instance, you know what I mean? Like there are things that you could that could be written that would be really interesting. So I hope if they like, I don't think Mangold would do a fucking corny fucking Steven Spielberg 1990s focus tested version of Indiana Jones, but I do hope that if they do any more of it,
someone say Red Tails too. Yeah. I was actually writing that. I was going to have Indy. Here's this: Indy teams up with the Red Tails. Jason, that was my idea.
I'm gonna say I liked where George's heart was though on Red Tails.
Yeah, well, he shows them that you can escape out the plane with a yellow inflatable raft. You can just, you could just jump right out.
I have that as my glider, and I have that as my
Meg's
glider.
on.
Meg's here. Well,
Yeah, well, that's all I had to say. I'm gonna get back to writing that script. Can't wait for it. So don't steal my idea, Jason. All right.
Hi, Meg.
Bye.
But yeah, no, is that it? Like it would be there's just, I don't know, so many. I see a lot of storytelling opportunities for Indiana Jones. I think the right people would too. I mean, and it's like, let's put it this way. Okay, tell me if you think I'm crazy. It is Bob Zemeckis, but Romancing the Stone. Don't you think that that Romancing the Stone could be made on Disney Plus today? Like,
yeah, starring Mutt Jones, right? Mutt Jones in the 80s, right?
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is that in that way, I kind of think that there's just so much on the table if Disney would pick it up.
I want to see Indiana Jones go to Fort Lauderdale for spring break. It's always the best premise for a Revenge of the Nerds film. Think it would work for Indy. Them kids are there out. He's out of school too during spring break, Jason. I don't know if you're aware of that. Like, so,
Spring Break Adventure.
It's so annoying. Sorry, guys.
Well, it's because the Rings of Power are breaking.
I know.
They can't get much worse than the 3 Hobbit films. Yeah, that one where I snuck in. I went and saw Life of Pi, which I really liked. That was really good. And I had the 3D glasses, and as I was walking out, I looked over, and there was The Hobbit It was playing and had the same glasses. I was like, let's walk in there. And I walked in there.
You look at your glasses. You look over there. Shrug. Go in.
Like, I'm set up. So I went and did it. Set up. Watched it. Watched that fucking part where they're washing dishes forever. I was like, I laughed.
15. It's longer than the pod race, Jason.
Yeah. It was.
Think about that.
It was one of the worst little people experiences of my life.
Yeah. It was worse than my childhood, where I had to go to where the little people lived and watch them mow their lawns for sport because my mom's fucking insane. She'd get donuts and she'd go, and this is her words, not mine, we're going to go watch the Munchkins. And I would be like, the Munchkins? And she'd go show me where they lived. And we'd sit in the car and watch these fucking actors just live their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to show Meg my Crimson Dawn.
Meg, she stole that shit. She look. She's a thief. She's a thief. She killed Kira. And she stole that shit.
Stole it.
Yeah, well, the Tolkien estate sold it to Amazon, so if they cared about, then they must not care too. So,
well, what people don't know is that Mon Mothma planned that too. Roland says Amazon only cares about the brand, not the story or fans. Has anybody seen it to review it yet? To like,
but that's what I'm trying to say though, Jason, is they don't own the license. They have to pay for that. They give the Tolkien estate. It says it's an estate. They paid for it. $500 million. So you can say who care? They don't care, but really, if the Tolkien estate really cared about integrity and the mythology, they wouldn't be selling it to nobody. Think Lucas would have sold it to Amazon to do Star Wars for $500 million? He would have laughed. Like, no,
I'll sell anything for $500 million.
Like what?
I know you will.
I'll sell this ass for $500 million.
That's what I want to
hear. Don says, I'm gonna give them a chance, at least see how they go about the characters they have listed in that Rings of Power. Something good has to be in it since they bucked off Peter Jackson. So is Don anti Peter Jackson? Peter
Jackson got nothing to do with that cartoon from the 70s, and I hated that fucking thing. So.
But Anthony Daniels played C-3PO in it. I mean, C-3PO played Legolas. Think about it.
Legolas, like with Legos.
Mm-hmm. Legolas. We've all had it. You had some Legos in the
original Legolas.
Yeah, that was.
Now I'm going to talk for 4. Welcome to my TED Talk, where I talk about how I played Legolas in the original Lord of the Rings.
Look at my mighty arrow.
What are you doing? Imagine every time. Hold on. Every time Anthony Daniels talks, he has to end with the Dr. Evil Pinky. Like, just if you do that in your head, it all makes sense. Just telling you.
So it says, it looks bad, but I don't watch Amazon.
You missed on that Tick show, which is actually really good. I shat on that and then I watched it and I'm like, it's actually really good. You know what's great about it is that he does all the things that you would think Tick would do, but what plays brilliant is it comes off so fucking weird. He's so weird. Like everyone is like in a Dark Knight, realistic kind of like Nolan thing, and then he shows up being the Tick and he's just murdering folks, but he's doing it with that voice and that personality, and it's so odd. He's like a fucking lunatic. You really don't know what to do with that guy. Like, yeah, I would go. Don't sit on that. Go back and rewatch it, Jason. It's a key.
Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. I was shit on it to no end, and then I was like, you know what? I should probably watch it because Wally Pfister directed it and whatever. And I'm like, it's so weird, but it works. It's the weird kind of working kind of weird, you know?
Yeah, I watched this dumb show on Amazon called Upload about this guy who's like dates this girl, but he dies and she uploads his consciousness to the internet, and now she kind of like owns the intellectual IP of his consciousness.
That was an episode of Buffy, right?
And it's like a dumb singularity comedy, romantic comedy kind of thing. But I kind of liked it. I saw that a second season. I keep meaning to watch it, but I haven't. Roland says his girlfriend saw Lord of the Rings for the first time and refuses to even watch the trailers for Rings of Power. Quote, I don't want to have my love for it stifled. I think that says a lot. I don't know, man. I think you might have set her up on that one. I think she might have been reading the room on what to say on that one. Maybe. I mean, I don't
If
know.
Batman and Robin can't ruin Batman for Batman fans, and nothing.
But I mean, how do you
Nothing's
even know
as bad as that, right? Let's be
how do-
honest.
how do you
Batman and
know-
Robin.
you hate it? How do you know you're mad at it if you haven't seen the trailer? So
But even
once
if you
again,
didn't like it, it can't ruin it for you. It's
But-
impossible. Like,
but also remember, Roland, if you like Lord of the Rings and your girlfriend does, apparently, I don't even like it. so that probably won't like it either. So we'll
Batman and
probably be
Robin
on
had
this
Uma
again.
Thurman, man. It's so horrible. And
Yeah.
that dude what's that guy? He was in Gremlins 2 and in Smallville. It's like a character actor.
I haven't seen
got him in
Smallville,
there.
but I
He
did see
played
Gremlins
Luther's
2.
dad.
But Gremlins 2 is pretty good.
He was in Gremlins
Also,
2. He was the Donald
Coming to
Trump guy.
multiverse, I am excited. Oh, by the way, it turns out Gizmo and Stripe are two different characters, so you could have a face off. I'm excited.
Wouldn't it be a cock off or caca off?
Cock down.
Gizmo's caca. Yeah,
Cock
it'd be
down.
a cock off.
A cock off?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm gonna cock off.
Gizmo
Yeah.
caca.
I'll be a little cocked off a few times. Don says he sure did steal the movie from them all. I'd seen it that first run, and I always remember him as the most short round. And then he was in Goonies, double classic year, that's for sure. Yeah, he was. Have you seen what's that? The new movie?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, I hate the title. It's a bad title. Can't remember.
Made $100 million, Jason. So what do we know?
I saw it in the theater. I loved it.
Yeah, but it keeps making money. It's in the
Mhm.
theaters now. It
Yeah.
keeps making money, even though you can watch. They're like, they don't get it. They're like, well, how is it? It's online, but it's in the theater. I'm like, most people fucking don't know where to get A24 movies online, or I don't know. Like, there's at the theater they want to watch something. But
Well, no, people like going to like you were talking about
No, I
Rogue
don't.
One. I'm going to see Rogue One with my kids because me and my kids are going to the movies. Like we're going to do something. We're going out and it's gonna be like going to the theater. I like being in the theater. I like the experience. When it's, if there's not somebody yelling at the screen or something, you know what I mean, on their phone the whole time, that kind of shit. Like for the most, yeah, for the
phone, Jason.
yeah, for the most part, I shut that down pretty quick.
Usually Star
But
Wars
he-
fans are pretty quiet, huh?
Yeah, they're pretty into it.
Uh,
Star Wars
well-
is usually the one though where people don't fuck around. Like you're not going to see people on their phones and during a Star Wars thing because they take it seriously. Usually,
Yeah. Usually.
yeah. but if you haven't seen that, Don, you should definitely watch that because he's back. He's great.
He needs, yeah. It's why when I saw it, I'm like, why isn't he in Indy, man? He's great.
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Stole the show from me.
Yeah, and I don't mean to like downplay his roles his presence on screen. I just thought I think he did the job perfectly, in Temple of Doom. Like I don't think he stole from Indy, he enhanced Indy. So for the most part, he had a couple of moments. I'm not gonna lie. For a few minutes there when he said, "Hold on to your potatoes," I wasn't thinking anything about Indiana Jones. I was like, "Yeah, hold on to those potatoes." I was holding on to them. You know what I mean? Like the whole time, like I was just holding on to my potatoes. I was like, this is why they make movies right here. Like my review of Temple of Doom was hold on to your potatoes. He canceled at Chicago Fan Expo. Didn't get to go up and say, "Hey, short round, how you doing?" Double drat on that moment. Last someday I will. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm glad he's having like a huge film again because I think he's a great actor. I think he's a good
You call him
personality.
short round, he calls you bitch titties. That's how.
Oh no, he's like
doing pretty good, bitch titties.
oh,
Shit.
come on,
What?
short round. My name is Jason. Yeah, bitch titties. Roland says, and I love The Hobbit. Quite frankly, yeah, I wasn't keen on 3 movies, but I loved it, and I was just watching them all this week. Yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I'm not somebody like who thinks that more of something ruins anything necessarily. You know what I mean? Like I had an instance of something today, like where I talked about like Kenobi, for me, makes the acting in the prequels worse. Like that is a ramification of it. But I could also be okay with it as a fan, because in that instance I got something somewhat better. Some attribute was better that took away some. So it you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily like, it doesn't break it for me or break anything for me. I'm like, okay, it's spread it around
Took
a
a
little bit
10-year
more,
hiatus though, Jason. That's
you know. But
it can.
but what I'm saying is, like, I don't know if seeing more Legolas is going to hurt anybody. Is it? I don't know. But also, like, at the same time, like, it's not like it's not in canon with the Warner Brothers films, correct? It's a different canon, like it's a different thing. So it's almost just like, so what? Like, you know, you could go read Game of Thrones or Fire and Ice, whatever the fuck that book's called, and then you could go watch the television show, and they're not the same thing, but there's the same story kind of. So it's just like, you know, different.
Like you could read the Star Wars
iterations.
books and the Star Wars comics, and then go watch a show or movie, and they're definitely not the same thing.
It just doesn't matter. But Don knows what I'm saying. You know, don't say potatoes. I have that song. Go ahead now. But oh shit, we're already 2 hours and 5 minutes. After Truth says, very surprising. Lego Star Wars and Lucasfilm games will be at the Disney and Marvel showcase, but I'm happy. Wait, very surprising. More Lego Star Wars and Lucasfilm games will be at the Disney Marvel showcase. As it's true, are we expecting there to be like more Lego Star Wars games, like Mando Lego Star Wars, or are we thinking like it'll be like expansions? Because I'm kind of thinking it's going to be expansions. But I would love if they.
Isn't Ubisoft working on a Indiana Jones game, or Warner Brothers? Not one of those.
There was an Indiana Jones game. I haven't heard anything about it in quite a while.
Well, I know that one from 10 years ago.
Oh no, that one from years ago that one's dead is dead. But there was another one that was coming, that was gonna come out. But potatoes. I have to send you in the Discord. Okay, yeah, send it to me on Discord, because I'll sing it to you every day. If it gets in your head, I won't be able to get out. So there you go. I'll teach you. Okay, as Richard says, it will be DLC for Skywalker Saga. Their next game for Lego is Disney, Mickey, and Friends. Indie game at Bethesda is still coming. Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, there's supposed to be some.
Wait.
Well, I mean, it could be good.
Disney, Mickey, and Friends. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the indie Bethesda game.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm just talking about. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. The indie Bethesda game. Yeah.
My popular or my unpopular take is going to be, I have never loved an Indiana Jones game. Never.
Yeah, and I'm tenuous on Bethesda games too, Jason. Like they require an insane amount of, every game they've put out requires an insane amount of fan mods to like make complete, and they're horrible at humans, and they're horrible at third-person action. Now I don't know, Jason. What property features a human who's recognizable, has a lot of third-person action, you know? Like, and generally speaking, probably not going to require a lot of mods, you know? Like,
Aphra?
There you go. You can have both. You can do both. You can do both. You can do both. You know, it's not either or. It's not and or.
It's not and or.
Not and
That's
or.
Fair.
And
it's either or.
And or. It is.
Yeah. But I mean, the good, see, I'm not a PC player, so that in a way that kind of sucks, because like if you are, you're probably gonna have those mods to make it look all good. But I guess if it comes out, I'll probably get my Shadow account back and do that and do the VR mod and play that shit in VR. Indiana Jones should come to VR, because man, that's another thing that Lucasfilm was fucking up. VR Indiana Jones games would be so fun on the Quest too. You know, that ball chasing you. I don't want to get smashed. I'm gonna run. People probably run into the wall and break their headsets. Make me laugh.
I just want more third person, like little mascot or action games where you're the camera with I can sit and just play it. I don't want to run around my living room as Indiana Jones. There's not enough space.
Wait, Indiana Jones is being made by the Wolfenstein team, so it's gonna be Indiana Jones versus Wolfenstein. Lego Indiana Jones is fun. Yeah, it is. It also is about time for a new one of that. We my kid, because I own that game digitally from the 360 days, and I think one of the 360s I bought came with it digitally. I think I had it hard copy and digital. And but my kid goes to play it and like plays all of the Lego games, but it's like this one kind of has some bad mechanics. That's what he said, because he's 8 years old and a little nerd. As it's true, says Eric Denton, are there any more DLC Lego Skywalker Saga? All of the Mando characters are in the game already. So yeah, it would be kind of cool if they just take the Lego Star Wars thing and you know, I could play those missions all day going around those locations. I like the open world aspect of that game more than I like the retelling of the stories. But let's end the show because we're at about 10 minutes over, and we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and talking about the Star Wars news. If there's any big Star Wars news, I'll jump back on. And thank you to everyone for being a channel member, and thank you to
thanks. What? Thanks a lot.
Thank you for everybody who's helped out Star Wars Santa's dad, and thanks to everyone for being cool in the chat, and to Don.
Really appreciate it.
For Don for not sending me the fucking potato song I'm waiting for. God.
It's the way I talk. What? How come no one wants to hang out with me?
So Disney say new reveals for the Skywalker Saga. I guess Lego Summer Vacation, Andor, and Kenobi skins. Oh, that's probably a very, very good guess, as Drew. I think you probably cracked it there. Would not be surprised at all. But Don says, I can't find you in the Discord. Don, are you on? I should give Don the link to our Discord too. Anyways, I'll find you. I'll find you, Don. I thought we were friends on Discord.
But you won't.
But yeah, I will. And anyways, thanks everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. And then I'm gonna play the end song. But you know what I have to do? I have to take Azatru's message down, because then at the end it seems like Azatru like ruined the show. Like it's all Azatru's fault. The show's over. Because
thanks, Azatru.
You know what? It's Azatru's fault. Azatru ruined the show. Fucking thanks, Azatru.
Didn't like Rogue One.
Didn't like Rogue One. You made the whole show. Honestly, that bad comment just stuck with the show the whole time. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.